Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel and to another turkey pattern test. Today we've got a bit of an interesting shell. It's a new one. I've never run these before, except in the 410. I did try them in the 410 and they showed some really promising results. So I'm really excited to see what they're going to do out of a 12 gauge. So for today, we're going to be running some of these. These are the Herters. They're 12 gauge, 2 3/4 inch, 1.5 ounces of number 9s. Going 1,200 feet per second. And as for the gun that we're going to be running them in, to start out with, we have the highly requested Mossberg 835 Ulti-Mag. Again, you guys really seem to like when I test stuff out of this gun. And for what choke we're going to start out with, I have the factory full choke in the gun. I think they technically classify it as a turkey full. It's a 710 constriction. And so far, it has performed very, very well for a stock full choke out of this gun, I gotta say. Everything we've patterned through that gun so far has done really, really pretty well, I gotta say. That gun just seems to shoot well with just about anything you put in it. But as usual, I've got the turkey target set up right over here. It's 40 yards from the bench. So let's go over to the bench and put these Herters 2 3/4 inch number 9 TSS loads through this 835 with the stock full choke and see how they shoot on the paper. Alright, we're all set up at the bench at 40 yards from the target. So let's put these Herters 2 3/4 inch number 9s through this Mossberg 835 Ulti-Mag with the stock full choke. It's a 710 constriction. So let's see what they'll do on the paper. Okay, so here's what we got. It's kind of a little bit of a goofy pattern. I want to say we were just a little bit touched to the left, but if you look at the overall pattern is pretty centered. But your core is definitely a touch to the left over here, but on the right side we definitely start to open up just a little bit. I don't know, it's just something a little bit different looking. But as far as the overall pattern here, it's definitely a pretty decent hunting pattern. It's not screaming tight by any means, but you get good coverage at 40 yards without being completely blown wide open. There's not really a ton of what I would classify as flyers. Maybe you got one right over here and maybe one or two of these you might call flyer. But your pattern, it's definitely open. There's no doubt about that. If I had to take a guess, that 710 constriction full choke out of that gun is just a little bit too open. I bet as we test this in a few other setups, we get a little bit tighter of a choke, and I bet it does a lot better. But still, this is definitely not a bad start. It gives us a good baseline for what we might expect out of that load. I'm definitely not displeased with it, but I do think we can tune it in to be a lot better than what it currently is. So we'll just have to run it through some different setups, different chokes, different guns, and see what it'll do. But that's definitely not a terrible start. Alright, well, what do y'all think about it? I definitely think that it's a decent pattern, but it does need some tuning. I think with a different choke, we can get that tuned in pretty good. I've got that Kick 680 that I'm going to be running it through out of that gun too. I think that might really surprise us. But for a budget load, I think these were $45, $47-ish dollars at Cabela's. Definitely a lot cheaper than most of your average big box store TSS stuff, and definitely your custom load TSS stuff. That's definitely not a terrible pattern for what it is. I think that's a really good starting point for patterning more of these shells out of different setups and seeing what we can tune out of this shell. So let me know down below, leave a comment. Do you like that? Is that something you would use? Is that a good starting point? Should we go tighter or maybe even more open? I don't know. What do y'all think? I'm definitely going to run it through multiple different guns with multiple different chokes and see what we can get out of it. But leave a comment below. Let me know what you think. I definitely think we're off to a good start, and I think this shell is going to surprise us in some of these other chokes. And with that being said, good luck getting out there in the turkey woods, and I'll see y'all in the next one.